Welcome back to Game of Who, that show, podcast, internet thing where we talk about the latest episode of Doctor Who, and sometimes Game of Thrones when that shows up next year in April, hopefully, for 8 more episodes. But this week, we're talking about, what was this? Season 11, Episode 8. We got 2 more left in the season. This one's called The Witchfinders. It's directed by Sally, I'm going to butcher this one, Abrahamian? Yeah.
I'm glad you took that bullet, man.
And Joey Wilkinson was the writer on this. So we open up, and apparently the TARDIS has once again dumped our heroes in some random wood.
Well, that's just kind of how they rolled with it. The Doctor walked out of the gate, basically just going, "You know what? Fuck the TARDIS. It's just all right. They're along for the ride, man."
Yeah, it straight up just dumped them here. So, all right, we gotta do the thing. So
Which kind of put me in a weird state. I'm like, is this how we roll now? The TARDIS is like, bleh. Proves them out, deal with it. Can't go anywhere. I'm not moving. I'm the TARDIS. Fuck you.
Well, I mean, like, there's the whole thing, too, of, like, they don't know what year it is for a while.
Yeah.
Or, like, can't you figure that out on your time machine by looking at what it sent you to?
Well, you walk out, and then you just go, you know, because they can do that at the Ren Fair. They get the look, but, man, they don't nail the smell.
This is true. So, we get into this town, I guess, where Doctor's like, "Oh my god, apple bobbing! Is it Halloween?" Ah!
Is that a Halloween thing?
I've seen it done in like the context of Halloween. I'm not really aware of it being anything other than a Halloween thing.
I don't know if I've ever actually IRL me spacing somebody apple bobbing.
You do it at kids' parties, like small
Don't go
children.
to a lot of those.
Yeah, I mean, so some of us can go within 300 yards of a school. So, anyways. But yeah, we get introduced to our antagonist right away.
Plague Doctor.
Well, no, not quite Plague Doctor.
Oh.
We got what's her name from Game of Thrones? She shows up.
Who is she in Game of Thrones?
No, the Sham Lady.
Oh, now you're confusing me. I was like, wait, she was in Game of Thrones? Oh
no, she's not. I'm making a joke about her.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, we got the ding ding, man. Shame. Yeah. But it was to call everyone to a celebration of happy, fun Halloween celebration, correct?
I mean, if you call it executions bring in like really good ratings. But yeah, no, in our little darkest dungeon LARP here, we have someone who has been declared a witch, and they want all of Yon peasants, serfs, whatever, to come bear witness to the dunking.
It was the last person in the village running a OS2 warp.
Yes. But yeah, as we walk off, we see someone in a mask. We don't know who this is yet.
Oh, but I mean, I think Plague Doctor, mainly because I watched you and Sandy play so much of Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah, this seriously is like a Darkest Dungeon LARP. It's pretty great. But the Doctor finally makes it clear of like a critical rule of time travel that maybe should have not brought up earlier, right?
No, man. 7 episodes in with new companions is the best time to go, oh yeah, by the way, we shouldn't really mess around with things in history because it can affect things. But she didn't go into, like, except for fixed points that we conveniently throw in sometimes, like Rosa.
Yeah, fixed points in time, the freaking evil gargoyles. Again, like, we've seen what happens. Sometimes you do a Marty McFly.
But dude, they're also bobbing for witches, man. They have a device for it.
I mean, like, clearly the writers have seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and so they have a little reenactment of that little scene where they try to establish if this old woman that they're about to dunk is made of wood, because witches burn. Witches burn, wood burns, and witches don't drown, so witches are made of wood.
Dude, I'm just saying, that's the kind of party I want to show up to. I can excuse the apple bobbing, but if I show up and they get like the dunking Stole 9000, I'm like, all right, I can dig this.
Fucking Mistress Savage is super proud of her Duncan machine, isn't she? I built it with my bare hands from the great fucking Gulthius tree.
We'll attack this later, but that lady doing manual labor, like they allude to her chopping down something, like by herself, and I was like, no one's buying this TV. Come on. Quit lying to me. That didn't happen like that.
Listen. She's hopped up on alien juice, but we'll get to that. Listen, when alien juice is the ultimate steroid.
Alien juice, bad.
But apparently, the doctor is not a fan of Dunkin' ladies, and so she is a fan of Dunkin' Donuts, I guess. But anyways, she dives in, goes to save the old lady getting dunked. Unfortunately, because CPR is the devil's fellatio.
No, man, people in the Middle Ages died instantly upon exposure to water. That's why they didn't bathe. This is a science fact. Look it up.
And like that's the thing. While she's getting dunked, we have, I guess her granddaughter. She's like to the earth and the trees and the woods. I'm like, oh, so like they're actual witches now, right? Is that going to be
fire,
a thing,
baby?
Yeah,
reunion.
It's happening from the Middle Ages,
dude. It should have been an extra in the background, just like a big lighter. It's like, fuck yeah,
yeah. But
dude,
doctor can't save the old lady. She's straight up drowned.
Yeah, but still, I mean, if we're working like in the timeline of this particular show, I counted. I mean, it was like 4-1,000. Doctor pops up. She's like, she dead. And I'm like, listen, Granny was about to kill over anyway. I've getting a little water on her. Knocked her out.
Yeah. That was a little quick. But Mr. Savage, she's all like, yo, who the fuck are you trying to disrupt my Lady Duncan? And the doctor produces the psychic papers again. Look, I don't know. You seem to have a problem with the psychic papers. I guess that it's like that beat in the story, but I don't mind it being used. I
don't mind it being used, but I brought it up last week because it has been overused in the new series, and holy fuck, 2 weeks in a row, man. I don't think ever in the run has it been used 2 weeks in a row.
Here's the thing, though. To me, that's the same thing as complaining about the fucking sonic screwdriver.
I don't think so. Because sonic screwdriver has definitely been just like the Deus Ex Machina of everything. Now we have the sonic and the papers. Like, use one or the other. Because
I mean, it's Doctor Who. What do you want?
Less psychic paper. I thought I made myself clear.
Right, well, you can't always get what you want. But the psychic papers declare that the Doctor, for now, is the Witchfinder General.
Not to be confused with the Witchfinder Major.
Yes, Major Lieutenant Witchfinder asshole, sir. But you got to obey the Witchmaster, man.
Got to obey the Witch Doctor. What are you talking about?
She's right. Witch Doctor Master.
Hey, the master fuck himself.
I mean, almost did, and then they stabbed each other.
Yeah, that happens.
As one does when you try to have sex with yourself.
At this point, we're kind of getting the lay of the land. They're kind of getting the lay down, and she's like, "I'm the Lady Lord of wherever the fucking Shire," and blah blah.
I think it was Leicestershire, wasn't it?
Clearly, where the fucking Shire?
Worcestershire.
Ville, yes, right next to that.
Berg.
But. Hey, I guess they're still rolling with the surf system. At this point, I was trying to pin down ballpark in my head what vague time frame we were working in.
I think we end up settling on like the 1700s.
Well, later on, I was like, that put a date on it.
Yeah, but they're hoofing it in the metaphorical sense, because apparently hoofing it in the literal sense is a little too much. Fucking devil worship. Well,
yeah, the Doctor brings up to the Lord Landlady. I'm just gonna call her Landlady from now on.
It's like, Mama Savage. Dude. Every time they talk about her, I'm like, it's Lady Savage. I keep thinking like Adam Savage.
No, Adam Savage's mom is a doll. I loved watching her when she was untested because she just busted Adam's balls. It was pretty good. But Landlady was. Because the Doctor wasn't buying this shit. She's like, yo, if you're the landlady and all this, Lord of the Keeps, where are the horses? And, well, Jordan, where are the fucking horses, man?
I mean, horses are instruments of Satan. Well, at least our horses. The Linux Game House cast horse is 100% satanic.
Touche, show. Touche. You can have that one. Evil horses. And it's like, whoa. If I was trying to rid Satan, horses would be way the fuck down on my list, man.
Right. But anyways,
I think I would be like banishing spaghetti before I would get to the horses.
I mean, spaghetti's treacherous. You gotta watch out for that flying spaghetti monster. Anyways, not like 7 minutes after being told, after instructing her companions, don't mess with the timeline. Doctor's all like, yeah, we should totally mess with the timeline.
Well, that's 7 minutes is when I hit pause. I did not clock it. I went boop, pause, wait a minute. Yeah, exactly 7 minutes. Right at the end of the first act, the Doctor's like, oh, guess what? It's time for us to go into little groups and go off and do shit. And yes, Yaz, like last week, you're on your own, son.
I mean, we do find out that execution. We learn about what's going on. There's a witch hunt happening, and that every time there's an execution, they ring the shame bell and they have themselves a fucking party. I mean,
it's a weekly thing.
I mean, it's very well received. Execution parties get good ratings. But the Doctor's like, no, man, I'm Dr. Jesus Christ now. Dr. Zhivago? I don't know.
I don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on. They're all in, like the keep chilling out. Then the Masked Man shows up, right?
Yeah, it turns out it's Nightcrawler. I mean, no, it's Alan Cummings playing King James of the Bible. The King James Bible.
He walked out of the gate just overacting that overemphasis. I was like, Jesus, man, I just met this version of King James and he needs a good dick kicking. And then not immediately, but within 3 breaths of thinking that, and I was like, maybe not. He might enjoy that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he Doctor tries to flash the psychic papers again. He's like, I'm the Witchfinder General. No, you're not, woman. Right. You're the Witchfinder's assistant. Well, and of course, like you do in England, you just defer to the oldest white man in the room. Yeah. And you assume he's in charge.
Well, I mean, he really didn't slag off on the Doctor. He was like, women with their curiosity and all that. And I was like, man, this guy really doesn't like women. He was like, hi, my Nubian prince. How are you?
Oh, yeah.
I was got it.
Yeah, he likes the dark chocolate.
Man, okay, that was made clear. Whatevs, that's cool. Where are we at? The ladies like laying beads from the wreaths.
Yes. I think before that though, we get a little bit with landlady, and she's like, we gotta execute all the witches until we find out where Satan is. We gotta kill them all and let God sort them out. That was our closing scene with King James before we go to the wreaths. So we learned that landlady is just completely knucking butts.
Well, she's something, man. Yeah, she really took a Marge Simpson's father's approach to witches. Like, just keep slaughtering them until they put it in practice that one day. And that wreath is like straight up from Tesco, 100%. I'm just saying. I want to throw that in there. But as she's picking off the berries, she's laying them down in the mud. She's like, "What's going on?" Eldritch type shit comes up out of the mud, man. I'm like, "Oh fuck, nope, I'm out."
But Yaz shows up. She's seen Evil Dead, so she knows what's going on.
Man, I'm going bullshit. If I'd seen Evil Dead, I was like, fuck this. You'd find me back inside the TARDIS. I'm like, nope, not getting raped by a tree. Not happening.
Well, anyways, Yaz protects. What? So there's some contention on her name. I keep hearing Willa.
Willa? It was Willow. I'm pretty sure it was Willow. That's not what I heard, man. I kept hearing Willie.
I kept hearing Willie. No one survived, not even Willie.
Yeah, that was definitely a thing. But where are we at? They're rolling on. Oh shit! They're like back talking the keep stalling or some shit.
No, well,
what's going on?
We cut back to the Doctor and Graham, and they're looking around. They're trying to figure out what's going on. There's a little exchange there where the Doctor's like, listen, man, this king is like disrupting my investigation. Technically, you're snooping. Well, I'm not snooping. I'm investigating.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, snooping, investigating, it's the same shit.
And then he has like straight up creamers up in the apartment, in the room.
Yeah, and we start hearing about the mood tendrils. I know they're saying mud tendrils, but their freaking accent is mood tendrils, mood everything.
I don't know, man. Go Gotham, but she's got something on her pants. Turns out it's just mud.
It's special mud.
Mm-hmm.
But we get a little bit more time with King James Allen Cummings.
He's got a bag of tricks, man.
I mean, this is true. He's got a bag full of body parts, assorted body parts,
relics. But let's see, what did he have? He had like a witch poker or something like that, right?
Yeah, the witch pricker, you called it. I think that's an appropriate name considering he's branching this everywhere. Apparently, King James is a fan of Graham, gives him his old buddy's hat, the old Witchfinder General's hat.
You know what?
Graham,
that dude
like
betrayed him. That dude betrayed him.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. He got shot in the head. That's why.
Yeah, he's like, he saved my life, then he betrayed me and I killed him. Here's his hat.
Yeah.
And it's a straight up pilgrim's hat too, man.
It is.
You have to expect like Graham to like break out some fucking Quaker oats or something, man.
Man, I want some oatmeal now. God damn it, I'm hungry. But yeah, King James is all paranoid. Also, he really likes saying prick.
Prick? Man, well, that's his Sonic, man. His witch pricker. Very proud of this.
Yeah. But
they do their best,
yeah.
Man. They try to stall the king, buy some time, while the doctor's out looking around, exploring and all that. And they're like, hey, maybe we should focus and look, and the king's not having fuck all anything to do with it. I was like, nah.
No, we get another mention of the spare body parts in his case. I'm like, man, I want to know about those. Don't leave me hanging. Tell me about the body parts. But I get the sense through all of this, because King James is going on this little Satan rant. I'm pretty sure Satan and King James used to date. I'm getting that vibe.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Could have been the thing. So, doctor's looking around. She runs into the recently deceased not witch that got dunked on. Her granddaughter? Question mark? All right.
Granddaughter.
And they're like, what's going on? She's like, oh, ookie spooky. I don't know. Just come into my house. Have some tea. Have some of Granny's tea if you're worried about it. And it's like, I don't know, man.
Why aren't you drinking the tea? Right. Oh, I'm sick. Yeah, you shouldn't really mix LSD and fevers. It's a bad combination. Bad trip.
But she's all spooked out, man. She's like, it's the devil, and booga booga, and it's the granddaughter. And then the doctor's like, yo, no, man, don't worry about it. Don't believe in Satan. And I'm like, bitch, you fought Satan.
And they beat Satan. So if there's any reason to not believe in someone, kicking their ass is one of them.
I don't know. I was like,
it's like the thing. You know what? I like to close my eyes and believe in dinosaurs because that makes me think that somewhere a dinosaur is believing in me.
Meanwhile, on the other set, not Rory and the king are walking around, and he's like, yo, king, what's going on? Why don't you trust people? And the king does his exposition dump about, man, everybody fucked with me since the day I was born. He was like, West Philadelphia, East Yorkshire, born and raised, and goes through all that. And not Rory's like, kind of laughs at him, but not the laugh. I thought that was kind of an interesting scene because modern day, you're like, yeah, you get it. You're like, what? That kind of laugh. And it's like, you could see how that could be misportrayed, back in the 80s.
For sure. That was a nice little moment. We get introduced though to Alphonse, his bodyguard / boy toy.
Oh man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure Alphonse is Mr. Stick to Satan.
Not Mr. Hat.
Not Mr. Hat. Oh yeah, I guess two is Mr. Hat. I guess Mr. Hat went and dated Satan. Whatever. We're here to talk about Doctor Who, not South Park.
All right, fine. Okay, Doctor is inspecting what?
Before that, King James is gonna run off. Ryan's a little worried about him. He's like, oh, you got aren't you worried that people are gonna try and kill you? God will keep me safe. Also, plot armor because I can't die. Because if I do, we break the timeline.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Couple episodes like that so far. You're like, well, you know how this has to play out in order for, history.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the doctor goes to look at some mud. She goes and puts a little sample in the jar.
But it's in the jar. It's Mexican jumping mud.
Oh, yeah.
It's jumping around, but, then fucking grandma shows up, dude.
Yeah. mood zombies.
I don't know. It's like the mud of Mars. That's kind of the vibe I was getting because it was a grandma's corpse full of muddy goodness. A muddy buddy, if you will.
Yes. Well, the doctor decides that her solution to this problem is to rap at the mud zombie. She got some sick rhymes. But here's the thing. She's like, I want to find out about you, but the alien clearly wants the bit of mud in the jar back. She's like, no, I'm not going to give it to you. No, you got to tell me. She's kind of being a dick to this alien that she's like, yeah. But all of a sudden, some more mood zombies show up, and we get our little thriller rendition.
Hey, man, looks like mud, talks like people, 100%. But Granny was hungry for mud, too. I thought that was a little overacted. Got like the little drop, just like, wow.
Oh, yeah, apparently she can also do the Hadouken because she just wastes Alfonso.
That happens. That does happen. And it's like, what the hell? But well, I'll address that later on because that like straight up goes down. So at this point, everyone kind of turns around and basically are we at the point to where everyone thinks the doctor's the witch now?
Pretty much. The doctor goes on her little rant. Well, if this isn't this and this isn't this, and does her little out loud verbal problem solving. The King James isn't having any of it. It's like, what are you talking about? What are you buying? I don't understand what you're going on about.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, straight up is like, and Madam Savage is all like, this only started happening because you showed up. You're the witch.
Oh, right. Because the doctor's like, what's up with that axe, yo? She's like, oh, shit, I'm going to be uncovered. Witch. Don't you wish real life worked like that? Like somebody was giving you grief over something. You're just like, witch. And
I mean, that's what basically the witch trials were about. Some lady's getting in your way. You accuse her of being a witch. And problem solved. But old King Jimmy wants to give the doctor a prick. He's brandishing his little witch pricker again, and we get a little lovely debate between the doctor and King James about religious thinking versus rational thinking.
Well, they did, man. I mean, they kind of had like their whole thing about who was wearing what mask. And it's like, are you wearing a mask, doctor? Like the name doctor. And it's like, oh, you're just wearing a mask of not feeling or whatever. And you get to understand the human heart. And the whole time I'm thinking, the king is like, well, oh, I have your wand. And it's like, man, all right. We got to ask the real question. Can the Sonic untie the BDSM ropes that the doctor was in?
I don't know, man. The one of the leaps King James goes to is like, wait, your name is the Doctor, just like Dr. D, a necromancer I just made up. Clearly,
Dr. D, clearly, Ben, huh?
I mean, again, I want to know about this Dr. D. He sounds like an awesome fucking dude.
Dude, I mean, she hasn't done. It's not like she plugged in a fucking thumb drive correctly on the first try. I mean,
right?
Yeah.
But we cut away. Graham and co are tracking mud zombies. Mm-hmm. Apparently he knows about trees. It's like, this is hollyberry. There's no holly trees around. It's a clue.
Gumshoes?
Yes. But yeah, then we get back to the Doctor and King James. She's trying to pull a little bit of a history book psychological warfare. No one knows why your mother left you. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. How do you know all this?
The king's like, huh, okay, what? No, guards. And we're going to go doctor dunking, aren't we?
No, they weren't even going to go doctor. I thought they were going to burn her. They dunk her later?
Well, no.
No? All right. Yeah, I think it was the doctor dunking. You're right.
Did we watch the same episode?
I think I made a leap and then I looked away while I was writing down some notes. Whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Grandma Zombie gets herself an axe. Apparently these mud zombies have a goal.
Well, I mean, you just got to see them. I mean, they're up in the house. They got the axe. They're walking around. We get a gang of them at this point. We don't exactly know what's going on, but we do know because at this point, the doctor's down at the lake on the Donkatron 9000, tied up, and landlady taps against the chain accidentally, and is like, tss, like.
I was like, yeah. I thought for a second, oh, is she like a fairy alien because of like the iron sensitivity or something? We don't know.
I don't know, man. But, also, they kind of made a point of it earlier. It was kind of, why does she have so many hankies in her room? Turns out.
Yeah, she's got the evil eye, or she's leaking a little bit.
She's got the old eye stigmata in that right eye.
Oh, yeah. But we get a little speech about how Jesus hates the doctor and that the doctor is Satan.
Okay.
Seems legit. They're about they go and dunk the doctor. Graham, Ryan, and Yaz show up, and they're like, "Oh no, you gotta stop this! You gotta stop this!" And the power of dark chocolate. Ryan's like, "You know what, man? You gotta let her go." And he's like, "Let her go!"
They were screaming. Not Grandpa was screaming. He's like, "I'm the witch inspector or whatever." And okay, fine. They reverse the Dunkatron, de-dunk the doctor. Doctor's not there. She went straight up Houdini as I'm typing that in the notes. Doctor's like, yeah, I couldn't hold my breath that long. It's been a wet weekend with Houdini. And I was like, keep going.
Yeah. But no, she wants everyone to smash that TARDIS fan.
Yeah.
And we get the confrontation between the zombies.
Dude, she said that though. She's like, yay, thanks, fam. Wait, fam? No. Did it again.
Yeah. But grinning grandma zombie shows up with her zombie pals. Ryan shows up with Graham and Yaz. King's there. Which Lady Savage is there. And Willa is there.
Willa.
And we get our confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out it was Morax.
Well, I didn't know what was going on, man, because landlady's like, whoa, and they're like, wait, they're not attacking you? No, they want you, landlady. And yeah, mud people. Yeah,
she's a satanic mood monster. Apparently, she gives into the mud and becomes a tree bark face lady.
Yes, she got stabbed in the leg by a tree.
Yeah, that's what happens.
It happens, man.
That's why you gotta get your tree rabies shot.
Then I think they spent all of their effects budget on like the Queen Mudkip's mask that was undulating slightly. And it was like that took either that or you wore a fucking intern out animating that.
Maybe.
It was way overdone. I was like, that is not a practical effect. Yep. That happened. That went down. And it turns out the mud people are like way over the top space baddies that just like, she's like, what do you do to justify being called a baddie? Well, we get up in the morning, kill in the afternoon, kill in the evening, maybe a little slaughter, pillaging, kill some more, go to bed. Same thing every day. That's what we do.
But the Morax plan is they want to put the mud in everyone, and they want their mud king to be injected into King James, so you can have a king within a king, get your kingception going on.
Kingception, man. But
yeah.
So they peace out without killing anyone. The big super ultra baddies, they just Hadouken and peace out. So everyone like wakes up. And they're like, whoa, where'd Goku go?
And then she's like, and the doctor's like, oh, don't worry, these things don't affect me. I'm a veteran of the Milk Wars of fucking 2099 or whatever.
Mm.
I'm like, Milk War again. Stop leaving story seeds that are more interesting than the story going on.
Ooh, truth burns.
But we now know what's going on with the Morax. They were imprisoned here for billions of years in England.
Of years ago when the future's past. Yeah, man. And that lock was a tree. Well, we get the whole backstory. Before that, to explain, the landlady saw a tree that was in her view, so she went out with an axe and got all Washington on that shit, which I didn't buy for a minute.
I mean, the tree decided to give her the old Washington back and stabbed her in the leg and made her all possessed.
Part of the tree, part of the Dunkatron 9000 was made from said tree, and the tree was a lock, so it is a mystical science contraption that holds in mud people. And it burns them in some way. That's why it burned her. It wasn't the chains. It was the actual tree itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But according to the doctor's calculations, trees are bombs. And if you light them on fire, you can use them to... I don't know. It was such a weird line. They try to figure out how to write the problem. The mud zombies, the Morax, the Morlocks have kidnapped the king. They got to go rescue King James. And Doctor's just like straight up, as she's giving this exposition, yeah, according to my calculations, this wood is like Semtex to them.
It is. Well, she explains, what this shit is and how it's designed to keep them locked in. Like, why is it in the shape of a tree? And they're like, well, it was put here all those hundreds of millions of years ago. And I was like, no, sorry. Now letting this one slide. Trees first arrived, in the history, if you go digging, about 390 million years ago, not billions of years ago. So, I mean, there was nothing to model trees on unless non-sentient life looked at the whatever the fuck it was sticking out of the lava.
Listen, you saw Prometheus, right?
No.
The alien tree jizzed on the planet, and then other trees grew up, and then they turned into xenomorphs.
Sorry, mud people I could roll with. That Somebody should have caught that line, unless they just put it in there to piss me off, man.
Probably.
That was it.
But yeah, magical green flames defeat the mud zombies. We go to confront the Morax before they inject their king into Alan Cummings. And
they go back to the base stump of the tree, and it's like, "Hey, king, come out!" And it's like, "Hey, look, it's Day of the Tentacle, singular."
Oh yeah, I've seen how this hentai ends.
Great.
Oh, but we get a little bit of conflict. Willa is like, she's hesitant about fighting her zombie granny, but hashtag not my granny.
Mm-hmm.
She blasted in the face.
And the king torches the queen, right?
He does.
He pokes her with a tree stick.
Yep, and which makes the doctor very, very mad. But then she decides to burn the stump with the magic green fire, and that sucks in all the mud people. Yay!
But
I do like though how like the corpses are just dropped everywhere. There's just a bunch of corpses everywhere.
Did you like step back for a minute and like reach over for another handful of popcorn? Be like, all right, did the mud somehow make them come back to life and fix them? Did it go all Goa'uld on them? And I was like, nope, still did.
Yeah, that did cross my mind for like a half second before they just kind of walked away from it. And of course, the King James gives the doctor a promise: we will never speak of this again. Wipe it from the history books, because no one else has heard of this.
That's handy. But before everybody rolls back out into the TARDIS, what the doctor does, like, which is indistinguishable from magic technology. Sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
Arthur C. Clarke's third law.
Yeah. And they're getting ready to peace out. King turns over to Nutroy and he's like, "Hey man, would you like to come back to London with me and be my protector?" I mean, King's thirsty. He's like, "What's up?"
Oh man, listen, man. He just lost his Alfonso. He's ready to get another one.
He's like, "Next."
All right, and we leave with Graham getting the last word.
Oh man, yeah, not Grandpa. Straight up throws down some Pulp Fiction and a parting quote. I was like, you know what? I like this character for a reason. All right.
Yep, and that's it. We're done.
Vengeance and furious anger.
Ezekiel, Pulp Fiction, Tarantino
making up Bible quotes. That's not in the Bible.
Yeah, apparently it's in the King James Bible because he included it. Right?
It is now. That's.
Yeah.
That could be a thing. All right. That's in the episode. What do you think about it? If I'm giving my quick recap of this, so far 7 episodes in, it seems like every episode has been an episode of Doctor. I got a bone to pick about a particular thing in history. Who?
Yes. I mean.
You got to put a lot of thought into swallowing.
I was chewing on an ice cube. Shut up. Definitely. There's been a lot more like social hot button topic issues in this season.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like I don't think my problem is like they don't really say anything. They don't take the opportunity to like give an interesting perspective or reinforce something. It's just it's there. It's a background element. We can't really do anything about it because we don't want to piss off too many people. I don't know. We've been talking a lot about the formula that the latest season of Doctor Who sort of follows, and I think this is one of the stronger expressions of that formula in terms of episode quality. Like this was a better episode than a lot of the other ones that we've gotten so far.
This was entertaining. Now, to go back and address, kind of how the mud people go from, we're doing this thing with the king. It was like, boom, now we're at the tree. The pacing felt off. Like right up until that point, I think maybe they thought they were doing a 2-parter.
Maybe.
And they're like, man, we got to put a bow on this in 5 minutes.
Well, it's that third act twist, right? Like they go out of their way to make to mislead you for the first 2 acts. And then
I'm talking about the actual pacing of everything.
Right, no, but I'm talking about that too. Where they part of this formula, right? There is that third act twist. So we need to we need to like cram as much stuff into this last couple minutes so that we can introduce the actual problem and then resolve it and just sort of kind of pay lip service to the stuff we were doing for the first 35 minutes of the episode.
Well, normally I would fall in line with that at being at the beginning of the third act, but like this shit took place at the last half of the third act of like where the episode would have normally ended and be like, tune in next week to, it's like, fuck, tree, boom, poof, all right, let's get out of here.
Yeah, it definitely did seem a little rushed near the end, but again, I feel it's because they're sort of locking themselves into this format. They start off with a slightly more interesting story, and then they have to cram a lot more crap, which means cutting out a lot of the connective tissue and sort of messing with the pacing in order to fit all the key plot points in, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Sloppy writing. Got it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's no Battlestar Galactica.
It doesn't matter, man. I mean, every Doctor through every series, there's always been, it's the writing, you know, no matter who it is. Couple of things with that, though, is I immediately screeched over to our Doctor Who, and I was like, all right, let's see what the internet thought of this.
Oh, boy.
And I kind of liked the episode before I went there, just to read the internet comments and what Reddit Hivemind thought of it. It's like, you know, I like this. This is a fun episode. It wasn't, I mean, something happened and it didn't, like, you know, it was like bullshit history thing, which is always better than trying to do real historical event shit. You know, real history as a backdrop, but fucking with main characters in history hasn't worked so far in this new series. But I like how it did. I liked how it did.
Sure. And what has the Hivemind convinced you of?
The Hivemind was like, this episode was horrible. I didn't like it at all. And I was like, you know what? I like the episode more now.
Yeah. I mean, high points. Alan coming, chewing the scenery is fun. I don't know. Like, this at least had like a consistent villain arc, I guess.
I pretty weak ass villains though. So yeah.
I mean, that's Doctor Who though. I mean, it's the Daleks. They're space Nazis.
Daleks can do some fucked up shit like the Silence, man. Those are some good villains.
The Silence was a cool villain until they actually started coming in direct conflict with them, and then they're like, "Yeah, remember that thing where you just forget about them if you look at them?" Yeah, but other than that, this was an okay episode. We got 2 left though.
We got 2 left, and I don't know, man. Maybe this is something I was just pondering earlier this week. One thing with the new Doctor in this new series, they haven't added anything to lore. You know, there's nothing in any of these episodes that are like, oh yeah, well that tied in, you know, and this is going to be a thing that happened, and nothing memorable, man.
I mean,
there's no like big event, anything.
True. I mean, that's been descriptive of like a lot of Doctor Who. A lot of the what do you call it? There wasn't really a lot of that in the Capaldi stuff either.
There wasn't.
That kind of stopped with Smith, I want to say.
I don't know. I mean, between that and they're hell-bent on just pretending that no Doctor Who existed before this.
I mean, again, that's all Doctor Who. The previous episodes exist when it's... No, listen, it's always been previous episodes exist when it's convenient. Otherwise, we just ignore them. Always.
Are you going to say for 1 second that they haven't made a very, very distinct effort to be like, no, we're coming in from new cloth? I mean, we have a TARDIS because we couldn't get rid of that. We tried.
I mean, I don't see what the problem with that is. There's a lot of Doctor...
Oh, I'll tell you what the problem is for me personally is there's no connective tissue. I'm like, come on. I mean, what universe are we operating in? A bubble universe where none of the other shit ever happened? And I'm not talking about characters. I mean, but just tie it into the timeline somehow.
Yeah. I don't think there's a good way to do it that would satisfy all Doctor Who fans. They'd just be furious anger and fucking re throughout the read.
You're not going to win that one way or the other. But I said it last night, and I'll say it again. Like I'm 7 hours into a video game that I genuinely care about the characters more than I do about the companions right now. I like the Doctor. Don't have a problem. But then again, I like Capaldi and hated the companions too. So it could just be me.
Like I said last week, it could just be that Doctor Who has sort of lost that magical spark that it had during the Tennant and Smith and Eccleston years. I don't know.
No, man.
They lost their steam somewhere.
Have I changed or has Doctor Who changed? No, it's Doctor Who that's changed.
No, it's the children who are wrong. Indeed.
Mm. Right on. Well, that's cool. We're going to bounce out of here. What do we got? You said 2 more, right?
Two more, and then the New Year's.
Cool. Well, same Doctor time. Well, what's coming up next week?
Doctor Who Series 11. Before the musical thing happens, It Takes You Away is the next episode by Jamie Childs and Ed Hime.
All right.
Time, maybe the Japanese, I don't know.
All right, beautiful. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.